I have a series of questions for Ralph Rucci, and
Don't you love the way he says Ralph Rucci? It's Ralph.
Ralph Rucci. And afterwards, I shall open the floor to the audience, and Ralph can take some questions. How important is fabric to you?
Fabric?
Yes.
Oh, it's air, it's life, it's essential. And we don't work with synthetics, not because I have some sort of snobism about synthetics, but synthetic fabrics don't contain the properties that are necessary to build the clothes that we have to make.
There was a writer by name Nicole Phelps. Mm-hmm. She reviewed your work in Paris in 2007. Mm-hmm. She said, she wrote, quote, while your fans among the ladies who lunch are legion, he hasn't yet quite managed to win over a broader audience, and it might help if he could loosen up just a little bit.
She hasn't seen enough of my work. Truly. She hasn't seen enough of my work. There are, in the past 28 years, many, many, many collections and garments. What a journalist suggests as loosening up is not the area that I am moving towards. There is looseness in my clothes. There's enormous freedom, but it has to do with psychological and spiritual development. Fine, that's my work, but the misinterpretation is what bothers me.
You still work with House of Lesage in Paris?
That's a really great question. And no, I don't. I haven't worked with Lesage in 2 seasons. And the only reason, it's that our dollar is so worthless. 6-7 years ago, you were able to purchase an embroidery from Lesage for an entire garment for $12,000-$15,000. Today, that same garment would be upward of $75,000. And so, how do you sell such clothes? The last garment that we made with Lesage was almost in 6 figures. So until the dollar becomes strong again, and plus don't forget, then you have the 20% VAT tax. So what this has done within the collections and within my mind and our business, it has brought me back into our workrooms, and if you noticed, mostly all of the hand techniques are made within our workroom in our house. And I'm even more excited about this than going somewhere else and developing embroideries. I'm always seeking a venue that allows us to show the clothes in a much more emotional and significant way. But you have to be so careful, because journalists en masse and also guests, they don't want to be part of they want to come and they want to see the collection, and they want it presented as clearly as possible, well edited, and they want it fast. But if you are trained as a journalist, and we do this mostly for the journalists and our clients, because our clients will come up to the showroom and spend hours and days playing with the clothes, you see the look, you get the message, next. Anything else becomes a little bit pretentious. I've tried in my career, installations and all of that, right, but it doesn't feel right.
So you're fairly satisfied with it?
I am. I think the organization over at the Tents here in New York, it's really quite wonderful, and it's concise, and it's put together well.
How much of fashion is advertisement versus substance?
I can't comment on that.
You can, but it could be a bit oblique about it, or vague. I'm convinced that some of the greatest work is never seen, because some of those great people don't have the availability to advertise significantly. The incestuous relationship between a magazine and advertisers is not new, but it's become very intense, and so often your editorial spreads are literally dictated from
No, not literally, specifically dictated from the advertising dollars. And that's why you see a sameness in editorial spreads. But as this shall pass also. I turned 51 this year, and I think about how many years I have left. And I haven't even touched so much of where I want to go. So I think about that a lot. I think about the fact that some of my team members have been with me since '86 and '88, and they're tired, and we work very hard. And when they retire, there is no one to replace them, even though we hire and train young interns and they begin to grow in the manner by which we work, and young people come in. But we no longer have a high fashion, American fashion industry in New York. I'm sure you realize this. When I entered the profession, we had all sorts of contracting shops with immigrants, wonderful immigrants that were taught this talent in their homelands on 39th, 40th, 38th, 37th Street between 7th and 9th Avenue. They're not there. They died. I'll give you an example. When Jeffrey Bean passed away and they closed the workrooms, most of the people in the workrooms are in their 80s. All those extraordinary people that make clothes. And we've experimented. You can't make this in Normandy, and you can't make this inside of Paris, and you can't make it in Italy. That's why, since he said it, I can say, that's why you see Gucci still having the bits and all of this. It's a camouflage for the lack of integrity that you can give the garment through handwork.
So, Ralph, how do you, in general, feel about the somewhat symbolic conversation or engagement between the fashion houses and the Oscar ceremony, especially like red carpet?
I want to set myself on fire that you ask that question. I'm trying to see, but my eyesight's not that great, to see if there's a journalist in the room. I can't be anything but honest. I think that one of the largest steps that we've taken as a profession into this whole realm of mediocrity is when we began to use the red carpet and the awards programs as a vehicle by which to sell clothes. I know that there are many people who don't feel the same way that I do, but I also happen to be in business, and you can't imagine the process of lending clothes and what and who you have to deal with. We don't do that because I'm in business, can't afford to. Firms pay certain actresses deep in six figures to wear their clothes. So, it's a separate part of the business, it's very significant, and it literally works. So, thank you for having us.
Thank you.